What's up guys, in today's video I want to talk about 10 breakout players. I've just made a list about 10 players that will explode, but this is a different type of list. This list is more players that are kind of still brand new to the NHL but are not calder eligible. So players that have been playing for a year or two that I think this year will be their magical breakout and they'll put themselves on the map. Now, by the way guys, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you subscribe down below. I do a tons of hockey related content. You don't want to miss anything out. And if you enjoyed that video, make sure you drop a like. And without further ado, let's jump right in. First player I want to talk to you about is Alex Tuch. Now, he had 37 points last year, playing in give or take a full season, and he was a really good player in the playoffs for the Vegas Golden Knights. I feel like he was energetic, speed, size, he's got everything for him. So I think 55 to 60 point could be in the mix for him for sure. So that's why Alex Tuch is the first player on my list. We saw him play a first power play role, so I think he will keep that role, playing on maybe the second line with a guy like Paul Stastny, but I think that first line of Carson Smith and Marchessault is really hard to touch. So Alex Tuch, just look out for him next year. The second player I want to talk to you about is Chavis Konecny. Now Konecny, you can argue, almost had a breakout season last year. 47 points in 81 games is really good, but I think it will take a bigger jump next year. When you watch him play, when you watch Konecny play, he's one of the best players on the ice at all time. Quick ends, quick feet. He's got everything on this brand new NHL that we've been living in. Speed, everything is going towards him. I think he's a lock on that top 6 and a lock on the power play role. Now, GVR getting in might affect his chance to really run a first power play, but even with or without a first power play, I think Konecny is in the range for a 65-point season. So definitely look out for him. Snatch him up in your fantasy pool if you can, because it will pay up big time. Now, believe it or not, that's actually why I'm wearing a Flyers jersey, because another player I want to talk to you about is Nolan Patrick. So, two players of the Flyers, and I'm not a Flyers fan by any chance, but I like this team, I like their young core, and Nolan Patrick is definitely one of those guys. Drafted second overall, after all, had 30 points in his rookie season in 73 games, but the more you saw him play, the more the season was going forward, the more he felt comfortable, and the more he was a dominant force on the ice. So I think 55 to 60 point is in the range. So that's almost doubling his production, but I think it's definitely possible for a second overall pick in Nolan Patrick. And at the end of the year, he was a really good player. You saw him getting more confidence, and just overall, you saw him play some big minutes at the end of the year as well. At the beginning, he had a bit of a hard role to predict, but I think the Flyers will give him that solid chance to just take it away with the second line and maybe even play a first power play role from there and then. So just look out for Nolan Patrick. He's definitely going to post some crazy numbers next year, and he will be that second overall pick that people really expect him to be. Fourth player I want to talk to you about, and by the way, this is not a list of 1 to 10, it's just 10 players that I feel like will break out next year. So by any means, this is not a top 10, it's just a list of 10 players. And the next one is Tyson Yost. Now, Yost only had 22 points this past year in 65 games, but that's nowhere near his talent level. And we saw him play some big minutes on the first power play role, and I think he keeps that role next year. That's why his number will dramatically increase. He was really good for Team Canada at the World Championship at the end of the year, and I just feel like this guy could be definitely in the mix for 50+ point. He's going to play on the second line and on the first power play, and just the fact that at the end of the year we saw him getting more comfortable as well, a bit like Nolan Patrick, and the fact that he played for Team Canada just shows you how much people see talent and potential in that kid, and next year will be his breakout year. Next player, Cup winner Jacob Beretta. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, so sorry if I'm not, but he had only 27 points in the season. Again, nowhere near his actual talent level. And he's going to play a role in that top 6 next year for sure, and not in the first power play, because that first power play is locked down. You can't touch that. But playing a top 6 role and a second power play unit, he can still manage to get around 50 points. So I think it will double his prediction, and 50 to 50 points and for him is definitely in the mix. Now, other players I kind of feel like I'm predicting are between 50 and 60 points, but I just really feel like those guys will have a jump next year, and we'll have what we call a breakout year. We saw Verno's speed, shot is elite, and in the playoff, it was definitely one of the key contributors to the success in Washington. So look out for Verno next year. I think this is a big year for him, big jump, and just the fact that he's He played a full year in, and now he's feeling comfortable. Look out for him next year. Next player on the list, and that's a player I really like. It's Chabot. Now, Chabot will start the year as of right now in a second power play role in a top 4 type of role. But we all know that Carson rumors are, we're seeing them on Twitter every single day, and I think it's more likely at this point that he does get traded than he doesn't. Because I don't think they want, like I said in a previous video, they saw Terrace go for absolutely nothing. They don't want that to happen again, so I think he refused the extension Ottawa kind of proposed to him. So that's why he's gone, and Chabot could have such an increased role, depending if they don't get a legit defenseman in return, but I don't think they do. And that's why Chabot is primed for a first power play role. So 45 points for Chabot is definitely in the mix. So if you have to snatch a defenseman late in your fantasy pool, keep an eye on Chabot, especially if Carson is gone. His value is going through the roof in my mind, and just overall his point for your fantasy pool, keep an eye on. Next player on the list is Gerard. Now, this player was received in the Matt Duchene trade to Colorado, and I think we only saw a small part of this guy's talent. He's an offensive dynamo. Yes, Tyson Barrie is still there, so I think he doesn't necessarily start the year on the power play, but Tyson Barrie is also a guy that was in trade rumors for quite a while now. But I don't think this is not all said and done, so by any means, Gerard will start a second power play role, and in the top 4 dimension. I still think he can get to the 40 to 45 point range because this guy offensive weapons are insane. His speed, his shot, his vision, everything is amazing. He needs to work on a bit of his defensive game, but that doesn't change the fact that point-wise, 45 point is definitely in the mix for him, so keep an eye on Gerard. Next player from the Winnipeg Jets, Jack Roslovich. Again, sorry if I'm butchering his name. He played only 31 games last year, still managed 14 points without any power play exposure. We saw him a bit play in the playoff, but he was a bit left of the lineup and played in a weird type of role. But with Paul Stastny gone, I feel like he could slide into the second center role, playing between Ehlers and Laine. So that will create dynamo moment. And they said, the GM and the coach said they were going to give him a shot on that second line. So that's why his point total could go through the roof. Now, I don't know exactly how many points he gets next year. My call will be give or take 48, 49. Can he crack 50? Yes, for sure. If he plays that role all year long, I mean, he's going to play with 2 amazing guys right there. So, of course. But I think they might put Little there a bit and then just adjust. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with him, but I feel like a breakout year is in the mix. And if he plays that second line role all year long, man, the numbers could be amazing, and that could be such a late pick that could pay off big time for you in your draft coming up. Another defenseman, again, I want to talk to you about is Shea Theodore. Now, he had a rough cup final for sure. That doesn't change the fact that he's only 23 years old, and for a defenseman, this is still very, very young into his development. Look at Victor Edmond. He really popped up late. Even Brent Burns, his best numbers are in the second stage of his career. So that's why Shea Theodore, I'm not comparing him to Edmond or Burns, just saying that 22 years old is still very young in a defenseman development. He had 29 points last year. He was good in the playoff, had some up and down and some liability defensively for sure, but I think like next year after playing that full year in Vegas, he will adjust, he will quarterback that first power play all year long, and again, something in the mix to 43, 44, 45, 46 points is definitely in the mix for him. I really like Shea Theodore. He's one of my favorite young defensemen to watch, and I really think that this is the year, because we've been talking about him for quite a few years now. He was on the map in Anaheim, he had some good playoffs there as well, and then played fully in Vegas, had some up and down playoff. I think this is the year everything aligns for him, and he becomes that first, not necessarily first defenseman, but again, a top 4 defenseman for sure, and a first power play defenseman, which in your fantasy pool is all we really care about. Last player I want to talk to you about, Jeese Puujuravi. Now, we've seen the Oilers at the end of the year trying to mix their lineup, going up and down some guys, but I think Puujuravi start on the right side of Draisaitl on that second line next year, and I think his number could finally be what we expect him to be. He had, if I'm not mistaken, 22 points in 65 game last year. 20 points, sorry, in 65 game, and I think he's gonna at the very least, double that, and it could very well be between 50 and 55. I could even see him on a first power play role with McDavid, because I guess he's got the skill set to play on a first power play role. Depend on exactly the Oilers want to plan that out. So just look out for Puujuravi likely, because I think he's not going to play in the minors at all. So he's going to play him into the whole year and on a top 6 role, and either on the first or a second power play, depends how the Oilers want to mix it up. So if you can snatch Puujuravi late, do it. Pretty sure you won't regret. And that's pretty much it, guys. So thank you so much. If you stayed till the end, you're legit amazing. I like you guys so much. Drop a like if you're here, if you like this video. Make sure you comment down below your call. Who's one player that you think will break out? Now, I'm not talking, because I made a list 2 years ago about 10 players that will explode, but those are already established NHL player. Those players are, again, just getting into the league, but they're not calder eligible, so they're just on the verge of being an NHL superstar or just a very good NHL established player. So who do you think that's still very young that could explode next year, and just to keep an eye on? So thank you guys so much for watching. You have an amazing day and all the best. Take care.